This is the best episode ever. And why? Because if you watch the episode right behind me, you're going to see this award-winning artist doing her work. You're going to see the final result at the end. She's painting a portrait of me. I can't wait to see it. Welcome to the best episode ever. Everyone loves the aesthetics and beauty industry, but you never get to see everything behind the scenes. It's for authorized personnel only. But now, you're being authorized.
You're in the operating today.
Blow the dice for me. Put your pretty ass lips together, blow real nice for me. Yeah, I'm trying to hit a lip and slide to the dealership in the morning. Wow, Papa need a brand new story. Hot head, they not gonna believe it, but check the recording. Just dance, up a few bags. Big booty hoes meet me in the pit. Bar full of liquor, cash for the strippers. It's gonna get weird tonight, so no, just put some money to blow. I'm about to buy Las Vegas after this road. I'm about to buy Las Vegas after this road. Come on, 7, 7, 7. Let's go. Yes,
Welcome to Naked Beauty Live. We are live. We're live in Instagram. We're live in TikTok. We're live in Facebook. We're live in YouTube. We're live in all of our channels to give you this episode of Naked Beauty, and this episode is the best episode ever. If you look behind me, you can see that there is an artist that is painting a portrait. Now, because this episode is all about breasts, we have a very special artist. She is an award-winning body painter, face painter, actually champion. We'll talk about that later when she joins us. As you can see, if you look behind me, she is painting a portrait of me. And so we're going to get a chance to see what that looks like when we come out to interview her. But you can see she's going to be behind me the whole episode doing her thing. And believe it or not, she is painting that portrait using her breasts. I'm not kidding. You can see it right behind me. So that's going to be going on the whole episode while we speak. This is the breast episode, so I want to go through some important things about breasts. Breast cancer, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that's why we dedicated this episode to the breast. 1 in 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and thankfully, there's only a 2% lifetime risk of death from breast cancer in the United States from a woman in her lifetime. In fact, the 5-year survival for breast cancer that's caught early is 99%. We have come a long, long way from where we had been with breast cancer. And it's something that if you just get yourself checked, women listening, please do your mammograms, do your self-exams. Get yourself checked and keep yourself safe, because the earlier the diagnosis, you heard, 5-year survival numbers, 99%. We have a great lineup of guests. We're going to be winding up with the artist behind me, looking at the the painting that she's been doing the whole episode. I'm excited to see the end of that. We have the first guest we're going to be actually bringing on the show is a terrific person to speak to, especially right now. It's very exciting. We have Roberto De Mezerville, who is the CTO of Motiva Implants, CTO of Establishment Labs, who make Motiva Implants. Motiva Implants just recently FDA approved, just within the last couple of weeks, have received FDA approval, and these are different. These implants are a little different. Matter of fact, Joe, I have a couple sample implants. Please make sure you grab them for me. They're next to you in those boxes. Let's get those implants. I want to have them ready so that when we're speaking with Roberto, we'll be able to talk about that. Thank you, and thank you. We just got these hot off the press sent to us for this episode, so thank you for sending those, and we'll have Roberto on in just a moment. And we also have a stylist who's here to speak about the special thoughts, special considerations when you are styling your clothing, choosing your clothing, finding an outfit, whether you're trying to make large breasts look smaller or small breasts look bigger, considerations around the time of surgery, and talking about trends. There have been a lot of trends related to breasts and choice of clothing. we're going to begin the show speaking about implants. Now, it's estimated about 2 to 3% of all women in the United States have breast implants, whether that's for reconstructive purposes or for cosmetic purposes. Probably about 3/4 of those are for cosmetic purposes. Of the women that get breast implants across the board, 92% of them report an increase in self-esteem just from having the procedure done. So it definitely is something that is beneficial for a lot of women. In 2023, the Aesthetic Society reports that there were 250,000 breast augmentations done in that year alone by member surgeons. This is something that's been going on. You think that breast augmentation is something that's really modern. Actually, the very first breast augmentation was done in 1895. There's a surgeon by the name of Dr. Cherney. Dr. Cherney took a fatty tumor off of a woman's back, and the woman had breast asymmetry. She had one breast much larger than the other. He used that fatty tumor as an implant in the patient's smaller breast to try and give her better symmetry. So that's really the first recorded case of a breast augmentation. It was using a lipoma, fatty tumor, off of that same patient's back. The first breast augmentation done with an implant was done in 1962. It was done by doctors where I trained. It was done by Tom Cronin and Frank Giroux. You might have seen Breast Men, the special that was made about their story. It's a great story to listen to, and actually one of my mentors, Dr. Tom Biggs, was part of that team, and Dr. Biggs always tells the story. It's great to hear it actually firsthand from someone who was there. Crazy story. They were trying to develop something to augment breasts. One of them was holding an IV bag, a bag actually a unit of blood, as it was what it was. And he's kind of rolling it around in his hand. He said, yeah, it's kind of has the right feel. I wonder if we could do something like this. And so just from the idea of holding a unit of blood, that's where the idea came from, to get a silicone shell that you'd fill with some kind of fluid. And then it was developed, and they used it in 1962, was the first patient that ever received it, Timmy Jean Lindsay, and she still has her implants today. Timmy Jean Lindsay was the first woman ever to receive breast implants, and there have been quite a few since then. It's one of the most popular, second most popular treatment, second only last year to liposuction, which is everywhere. So breast augmentation, very, very common procedure. So let's talk about these new implants. I want to welcome to the show Roberto De Mezerville. You're in Costa Rica now, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting us and having us here today. Dr. Robson, a pleasure to be here.
Well, I really appreciate you giving us your time. I know you're very busy. It is really exciting what's going on with the approval. Congratulations. It's been a really big, a lot of work that has come to fruition.
Absolutely. It just took us 7 years to get the process to be here and just get the recent approval. So imagine how excited we are to bring to the U.S. this new technology. So yeah, very, very thrilling.
For sure. I mean, 7 years, that's a long time. People don't understand how long it takes to get one of these things rolling. It's 7 years getting the FDA approval. These are exciting implants, actually. I'm really excited to use it. They're so new, I can't even put them in yet. I'm still waiting to get my account all settled. I mean, this really, when I tell you guys it is the newest thing, it just was approved. So I'm very lucky to have these here. Tell us about the implants. I mean, I've got some here. I'm going to play with them. We'll show them on camera. What's different about the Motiva implant?
Well, there's a lot of things that are different, and we have to start by the surface that we develop. So, but before going there, I would like to say that, you know, the reason why we created these new technologies, and as you said, all the history since the early 60s, and all the development that happened since breast implants were used in women, it had some interactions, right? But because of many different challenges, it's kind of slowed down the innovations that breast implants have brought into the markets. And in the U.S., it's not different. Like, even though we just got the approval in the U.S., these breast implants have been in the market for more than a decade, 14 years to be precise. And the first thing that we realized, it was that the surface that is going to be in contact with the whole breast tissue needed to be as biocompatible as possible. And by doing that, enhancing that biocompatibility, we needed to understand all the behaviors of the body that happens the moment that product is against those tissues. So The very first thing was that we work a lot in making a surface that could reduce that immune response. So that's how we came up with our surface. And then the mechanical properties, the only objective of a breast implant is to provide volume, right? Like for aesthetic reasons or for breast reconstruction to replace volume. So to be able to control where that volume of that implant is for us was very important. So the geometry, how do we build a breast implant that acts as one body, as a true monoblock technology, was very important. So the mechanical properties, after having solved the biocompatibility challenges, brought a very new technology that has been very well accepted in over 85 countries worldwide.
Yeah, the surface is definitely different. This is a different kind of surface. It's what I would consider like a micro texture. It's got a different feel to it. Most implants are smooth. You take a look at this, you see it's kind of hazy in color. That's because of that texture. It's got a very soft, almost silky texture. You don't feel a roughness to it, but it's not smooth. It's somewhere in between. It's not exactly a texture to feel. So tell us about that. And you're talking about this improves biocompatibility, right? So putting this in, it matches tissue better?
So, well, what happens is that triggers cells in a different way. So, since the 1960s, the first surface that was used is what we call the traditional smooth, right? That it's the most common used surface right now in the United States. And this surface that we developed is close to that, but it is a 4 micron average roughness surface. That means that we worked in giving it a very specific architecture design in order for cells to feel safer, to feel better. So like, without getting too much into the science, the reaction of the cells to this surface is less of a strange body to them. So that's why all the immune response and the inflammatory response, it's way lower, and that provokes less inflammatory reaction and less capsules and all that benefit for the implant. But yeah, you're right. It feels very close to smooth. You can, with your hands, you can now pretty much feel that 4 micron surface.
Yeah, it's a lot less. The roughness of it is far less than other textured implants that I've felt before. There's definitely something different about it. And then the feel. You guys have done a lot. You talk a lot about elasticity and the way that the implants move. So if I can show this, let me see if I can get this on camera if you guys can see. The implant in this hand, let's see if I can get you that angle. It's hard to show. You see that this is kind of becoming teardrop shaped as I let gravity work on it. This one, when I hold it up, tends to hold its shape a little better. You get a little bit more fullness in the top. This is your round. This is the you guys call it the ergonomics. I'm still learning the names of these things. So the ergonomics has a really soft and natural feel to it. This is more firm and holds its shape better, and so the effects in the tissue are a little bit different. But this you will say is different than the kind of gels that we're using, because we have stiffer gels that exist before, thinner gels that flow, but the way that this behaves is different than what we've seen before.
Gel in order to provide one specific result, which is a lower pole fullness. And the ergonomics, on the other hand, it's designed to be more viscoelastic. So that means that it's going to move more with the dynamics of the woman's activity, and that will make it more ergonomic for the body. So it's going to look more like a natural breast. So we're talking about lower pole fullness, and that's the main difference. So like, we got to a point where with geometry, a shell and a gel design, because those shells are different, even though they have the same surface for the benefits of the low inflammatory reaction, they are designed to either project more on the upper pole or project more on the lower pole, depending on what the woman desired.
So even the same shape implant, we could have 2 implants that are the same shape, but if we're having ergonomics versus your round technology, they're going to look different when they're put into the pocket.
Correct. And this is something that we've been, the ergonomics has been in the market for over 10 years now. Wow. And we see the difference on patients where the breasts look more natural, have more dynamic. So, you know, when we came into the market, the anatomical implants were the implants that were used most commonly. But the anatomical implants or the teardrop, they are designed to be shaped when a patient is in a standing position, right? But like, of course, there's different movements on the woman during the day. And so we design an implant that it's more dynamic and feels more close to the breast tissue.
Well, you mentioned that they've been around for 10 years because they're new in the United States, but they're not new. These implants have been around in Europe, in South America for a very long time. So
absolutely,
what has the feedback been? How are you guys being received in those markets? It's been a long time. They've been around. What are you hearing?
Oh, I'll summarize it by like the way that we've been growing our company and the market. It's pretty unique. You know, we've been in the market. The company was founded 20 years ago, and we've been in the market for 14 years now. And the adoption of the use of these implants have been growing significantly. So, for instance, in different areas and regions in the world, like it's the go-to product for most of the larger markets. So it is interesting to see what we're going to happen in the U.S., but we're very positive that after more than a decade of the last approval of a breast silicone implant, it's very exciting to see that this technology is going to come to the U.S., and we hope to see the adoption that this product have had outside the U.S.
Well, I'm excited to see it in the U.S., and I'm excited to see it in my operating room. I can't wait to get these where I can actually use them in an operation. I haven't had that chance yet, and very few people have, actually. The Motiva implants are part of your portfolio that you guys you're taking an approach to women's health and women's aesthetics. And, you know, I've heard the name Femtech used for a lot of what you're doing. Tell me about this Femtech philosophy. What is the idea behind that approach?
Well, I'll summarize it like this. We are not just another company that makes breast implants. That's not what we are. We are a company that is dedicated to women's health, and that makes a huge difference. You were talking about the history of breast implants on the early 60s. Also, you have to know that in the early 60s, women were not allowed to run marathons. Imagine. And it was Catherine Switzer, same early 60s, when she was for the first time the first woman that was registered in a Boston Marathon. And even though at that same competition, referees were trying to push her out of the tracks because, you know, it was not used to see a woman running a marathon. Can you imagine that? It's about the same time. Imagine how much women's lifestyle have changed that today more than 60% internationally are registered for running marathons are women. So imagine the shift that you know the woman lifestyle have had. So since the very beginning in our company, we decided that any technology that we were going to develop had to be solving a woman's unmet need. And that's where the Femtech philosophy comes from. We're a company that is dedicated to women's health, and we're a company that builds technology for women's benefit. And that's where the Femtech philosophy comes from.
Well, there's other products you guys have in the future that are coming to the United States, but other products that already exist in other countries. You have a whole line intended for breast reconstruction as well.
We do. And here we have to clarify that right now, the Motiva breast implants are approved in the U.S. for aesthetic reasons, and we're undergoing the process to bring it to the recon. But I'd like to share with you that we do have approved a breast reconstruction product, which is called the tissue expander. In most of the breast reconstructions, second two stages, like that you do use a tissue expander and then a permanent implant. To be able to do this process, the tissue expander main objective is to, after the mastectomy, to stretch the tissue to the point that then you can place a permanent implant. For many decades, more than 30 decades, these tissue expanders were using a magnet in order to find the port which I think that for 30 years ago, like it was a brilliant idea from the outside using a magnet, right, to locate that port. But these days, we brought to the US a product that it's magnet free, there's no magnet. And with that, we're breaking the limitations of having like second MRIs or any imaging process that you can have. But also, Dr. Rubinstein, the way that the treatment doses can be targeted for treating that breast cancer, it can be better targeted. And this product have been internationally approved since many years now. There's a lot of publications on and literature that shows the benefit not only of not having a magnet and a metal, so it's MRI.
Right. Yeah, can't do the MRIs with it.
Exactly. So the tissue expander used to have to be removed in order to do the MRIs. So now this is not the case. But also, like the fact that oncologists and surgeons can plan better the reconstruction dosimetry, it's a huge milestone. So we believe that among with the surface that we have that produces less inflammatory reaction, this can change the way that breast reconstruction it's been done today. So we're very excited about that.
What can a patient, what difference do you think is going to be for a patient that, let's say we're doing an implant exchange, someone wants to be a little bigger, a little smaller, what have you, and they're going from an implant they've had before, which was not a Motiva implant, then to swap them into something that is a Motiva implant? What do you think is the feeling difference for a woman?
Well, we have several testimonials after having a revision procedure that they feel more comfortable. And that is not as a surprise, Dr. Rubinstein, because we designed the product to be more ergonomic, right? That's the name. Ergonomics comes from ergonomy, and it's a product that the woman didn't have to change their lifestyle because of a product of an implant. So the fact that we hear testimonials of women that had a revision surgery and they had different technologies, and then they moved to an ergonomic product, they feel the difference. And there's an amazing group of testimonials that shows that, but also it's being reported in literature. There's been actually in breast reconstruction blinded studies that show that women were feeling more comfortable with the technology of the Motiva Flora tissue expander and the ergonomy product as well. So it's something that it can be backed up by evidence.
Well, I can't wait to find my own evidence when I try these things out.
Oh, looking forward for that.
What's the future? What's coming next from the Motiva implant line? What can we expect to see?
Well, here I'd like to say that we've been having the commitment as a women's health company to continue consistently bringing innovation. So every other year we bring a new product, a new line of products. And we're very excited, Dr. Robertson, to share with you that outside the US, we brought last year a platform of an injectable implant. So we learned from the Asian market that women were scared of breast implants. So they were injecting hyaluronic acid, hydrogels, and we learned, especially from Japan, about this effect that was having in women that wanted a breast stock. And so we took the challenge also like 7 years ago to create a technology that we can, on a minimal invasive way, inject an implant to a very small incision, and hoping not to have any scar on the breast. So we designed the technology Mia Femtech that we hope to have in the US coming soon, but we'll celebrate it the first year of having it commercially available in Europe and in main cities there, and also in Tokyo, Japan. And it's been absolutely fascinating to see not only how we brought this new technology, but what surgeons have been able to do with this technology to their patients. So the testimonials all over Europe and everything are very positive, and we hope that, to continue our commitment on women's health, to continue bringing these new technologies. But yeah, the era of tissue preservation and injectable implants are here.
Well, I've read about that, and I've seen some things on that Mia Femtech technique, and I cannot wait. I've actually tried to learn more, but we can't here in this country. We're not allowed to get into it until you get it approved. And I travel all over the world lecturing, so I've heard about it in Europe and from my colleagues that practice outside the United States. this is really exciting. I mean, this is going to be the next thing, and I'll have you back on when this gets approved for sure, because we want to talk about it. I want to see it done. I want to learn to do it. I think there's a tremendous potential. I mean, the promise is to be able to do a breast augmentation with no scar on the breast, a minimal scar away from the breast, and have it. I mean, I've seen patients recover really fast, just very low recovery times and nice results. It answers a lot of questions that patients have. They want to have nice-looking results. They want to have small incisions, preferably no scars in the breast. This checks all those boxes. So, right now we're celebrating the Motiva implants being here. I can't wait to celebrate Mia being available.
Absolutely. And also, it's interesting because we just not only are developing new technologies, new implants, new systems, but also new experiences. And it's very nice to see how the technology and in the hands of you surgeons can provide these experiences. We see this procedure done in just a few minutes, less than 50 minutes. In some countries, they're calling it the lunch procedure. Like, is that impressive. And also the recovery time is done under local anesthesia. So you don't have to go through all the process of like traditional general anesthesia and the recovery. So no, we're very excited, and hopefully we will be here in not so long to celebrate that approval as well.
That's right. Well, we got to start doing that in Miami. Now, before we go, there is another product line you guys have been working on. I know we can't talk a lot about it, but you're not just doing implants, you're doing across a broader aesthetic spectrum. There's an injectable product that you guys are working on. I'm not talking about injectable implants, an actual different kind of filler, a volumizer. Are we going to be allowed to talk about that?
We'll have to save that talk for later in the next program.
Let's I can't tease you about that. Well, I will tell people watching there's stuff coming that is really revolutionary. It's been tried before. This particular product that's coming soon is basically a natural type of filler, and it's going to be something that I think may open doors and change the philosophy on how we're using filler, what we're using it for. Volumes we'll be able to use, and then the natural element of the result. That's really exciting. So that'll be another thing we'll have to have you back on when you're ready to talk about it. All right. Well, I appreciate you giving me all this time. This is a really different kind of implant. I can't wait to try it. We're going to start using it, and maybe we'll have you back to talk about the new approvals and then revisit these implants. So where can someone go? I mean, as you're rolling it out, is there some place they can learn more? If you're a patient thinking about breast augmentation, comparing different products, where can they learn about Motiva implants?
Well, I'll just recommend to go to our website. And so like you'll find it under Motiva and Motiva US and Motiva Breast Health. And there's a lot of information there. We have also make sure, like these days, it's really important that women are very well informed. So we put all the information there. We are very transparent. Just this week, we released our post-market surveillance data. And you can access this, and it's our website. And this is not, it is something that you don't see from other players in the industry. And we're very transparent. We show the data. Like there's no better way of building trust than opening your information and your doors to everyone in the circle that it needs to know. And so like we're very happy to share this information. You can find all that in our website, and we're happy to respond any question.
Well, I'm happy you responded to my invitation. Thanks for being here today with me.
No, my pleasure.
And I can't wait to see more and use more Motiva implants.
Well, I'm looking forward to see how your experience goes, and I also look forward to see how that art piece is going to come out.
Well, you'll check it out at the end of the show. It's coming along. She's still working.
All right.
Thanks again for coming with it, for joining us today on Naked Beauty.
Oh, you're very welcome.
We're going to be in studio with a guest that is joining me now. We're going to be talking about styling, and I wanted to have someone that could talk to us about selecting bras, selecting clothing. There's a lot that people go through to try and get the right. I mean, my patients tell me they can't find a bra that fits the right way, and they have a hard time even choosing outfits and making it work. So let's get to an expert. I want to talk a little bit about bras, And, just to get a little bit of history on this, just to start thinking about bras, the ancient Greeks used bras. This is nothing new. The ancient Greeks were using it for support of the breast, and then through time, in the 14th century, there have been some advancements in bras and separating them out and having individual cups for breasts. It was not until 1977, you heard us talking about the bra and the female marathon runners, female athletes needing some support. It's shocking that it wasn't until 1977 that we had a sports bra invented. The first sports bra came out in 1977. It's not that long ago. So there has been a lot of advancements, and before that, there's still different styles. You think back into the 50s, there were a certain look in the breasts, and there have been things like there was something called a bullet bra, which is very triangular and pointed. Madonna famously used one of these in one of her videos. There's been a pendulum swinging. Larger breasts become in fashion, so women want to get breast augmentation. And then there's been times where being very thin and skinny has been in fashion. You think of Marilyn Monroe as the classic voluptuous woman, Pamela Anderson in Baywatch running down a beach with large breasts bouncing as she's running. And you think about Kate Moss as a waif model, really thin, flat-chested, not much of a projecting breast. All of these things influence fashion. So I want to introduce our next guest. We have Chanelle Renée.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you joining us today. She is a professional stylist. So, your job is to help people figure all this out.
Yes, it is. And I start with the foundation. So when you have on the proper foundation, the proper undergarments, it makes your outfit look better. And everything is different. It depends on what the woman desires. And things change. Time changes. Fashion comes in and goes out. Everything recycles itself. So it all depends on the woman.
So you're speaking about foundation, and you're talking about foundational garments. We're talking about bras.
Correct. Bras, shapewear, panties.
Oh, right. Shapewear, too. Yeah. Right. When you have a client that comes to you, tell me how, because obviously this is the breast episode. When people talk to you about this stuff, how do they express, or how do you address the importance of trying to make their breast fit right?
So first of all, I relate to them, right? So I might share an area of my body that I may not be super excited about or happy about, but I talk to them about how I overcome that. So once you relate to somebody and you gain their trust, then they're more vulnerable and they can just open up and share with you, like, so I've always had small breasts. I've never felt comfortable the way my stomach is, or I have less behind than I do breasts. So it all depends. Like, I typically ask my clients when they want to work with me, wear a fitted garment and send me pictures, front, back, side. And that way I can see what I'm working with. Like, every woman is a work of art. We're all different. So I like to ask for that profile so I can see what I'm working with. And then I ask them, what are your areas of concern? How can I help you? What are your insecurities?
So what comes up? I mean, you have these conversations. What is it that jumps out? Give me an idea of what what are some things that you've had to deal with?
Okay. So a typical, I believe I heard you mention it in the last segment. Some women have one breast extremely larger than the other.
Yeah.
That's extremely hard to find. So what you would do is you would fit the larger breast to make sure it's smooth, it fits. You measure around the waistband. Most people don't even realize that the most of the support from your bra comes from the waistband. So ladies, we're digging holes into our arms and our shoulders when most of your support comes from your waistband.
Well, that's why there can be strapless bras, right?
Correct. So when there's a lady who may have one breast larger than the other, we fit the larger breast, and then we can find a prosthesis or a chicklet, a cutlet.
Yeah, my wife calls it. My wife actually decided she wanted to get implants to fill out the breast, because after having kids, things shrink, right? I'm sure you see a lot of clients after breastfeeding, after having kids, and the breasts returning to normal. They're often smaller. They're more hollow. So before my wife made that decision, she used to call those her chicken cutlets.
Yes, her chicken cutlets. So speaking of surgery, I actually made someone's day the other day. I had a customer come in. she had just had breast augmentation service. She had basically a mommy makeover.
Okay.
Right? She always had smaller breasts, but after, I think she said 4 boys.
Ooh.
Right, 4 boys.
That's a busy house.
And breastfeeding, she felt depleted. She
Right.
felt insecure. So she got her breast augmentation. Her incision was under the bottom,
Mhm.
so her breasts weren't cut. And she had wasted so much money trying to figure out
Yeah.
her bra size. She didn't know that people are still out here fitting to help you find your exact size.
That's a great point, because a lot of people will go, and it also, not all fitting is the same, right? You walk into your average, department store. It's not like you're necessarily going to get the right fit. Even going with Victoria's Secret, I have patients that come in and they say, "Oh, I went to Victoria's Secret. They told me I was double D," and I'm looking at them and said, "Well, you're going to be swimming in double D. They're way too big for you." So there's different ways to measure and really get it right. What do you suggest?
Take your time. Don't rush the process. This is something that will boost a woman's whole lifestyle. How she walks, how she talks, how she shows up in a room. You have to take your time. You have to try different sizes. The most accurate thing you can do is get the measurement of the band, and then the cup is honestly a guessing game.
Yeah.
You have to go a cup down, a cup up, a cup in the middle. You have to ask her, what size were you wearing?
A cup in the middle?
Right.
Is there a middle? I mean, do they make like B.5 or?
They don't make a B.5, but some women, based on your band, you can be a middle size of what we measure. So depending on where you fall, you might be a 32 or a 30. Both can fit comfortably.
I see.
But it depends on the density of your breast.
So really, at the end of the day, you just get measured and put them on and try.
Absolutely. You have to try. You cannot determine your correct size without taking your time to try. So a customer who's in a rush or a client who's in a rush, that's not the day for you to get your bra fitting.
Right. How long do you think it takes? Like to do it right?
To do it right and to try on, because you should have a bra wardrobe.
Huh.
Right. People don't know that. So you should actually have a bra wardrobe. You should have a wireless bra. You should have a push-up bra. You might want a full coverage bra. You might want a strapless bra, a bra with no lining, a bra with padding. So it all depends what the customer is looking for. If they're looking for that one everyday bra, then it may take 20 minutes. If they want a bra wardrobe, it may take 45 minutes. But that is a great investment in your insecurities, in your looks, in your everything. Like, it boosts everything. When you sit up straight from that bra and your outfit is amazing, you feel amazing.
I would imagine. I can't say I've ever sat up straight with my bra fitting right, but, I think I get the idea. Obviously, I'm in the business of helping women's confidence as well. I mean, everyone's confidence, not just women, men too. But for sure, there's a noticeable difference when a woman feels comfortable with their body, the way that their breasts project, the way that their breasts lay.
Yes.
And that translates, even if they haven't had surgery, you can do a lot of things to help shape the breast to do what a woman wants it to do, to make it appear the way they want it to appear.
The right bra can change the world for a woman. If a woman has breasts that go to the side, I think they call it east-west, or right?
Yeah, well,
with the proper bra, you can bring that closer, give her the proper cleavage. She's super happy. If a woman has a breast that droop down some, you want to bring it up, and you don't always need a bra with a lot of padding. You can use their natural tissue in their right size, and it will lift their breast, adjust the straps properly, not digging into their arms, and you make sure that the wire is in the right position.
Yeah, well, I've seen that a lot, where it's just sort of hanging out there.
Yes.
And not really holding anything, just sitting underneath, not really doing much.
Right. It should meet you right on the edge. All your tissue should be inside. No tissue should be outside of the wire. And in the fitting world, we call it a little shake, a little shimmy. You lean forward, you do that shake, it gets all your tissue in flush, and then once you stand up, we can make sure you have 2 breasts and not 4.
That's interesting, because when I think of shimmy, I'm thinking of Steph Curry after he drops a 3 on someone. Even the little shimmy and then going back down court, it's a different thing. Yeah. let's talk about some specifics. Let's help some women out now.
Okay.
Let's say let's talk about that person. Will start off with the person you mentioned. We have someone with one big breast, one smaller breast. Maybe it's a full cup size difference. How are you going to guide their style?
Okay. So with that person, if they're a fuller breast, I would suggest a bra like a Chantel Nora or a Elomi Matilda. If they're a fuller breast woman, then they can find a retailer, they can connect with their insurance, that will sew in, or even just a tailor will sew in a prosthesis cup. And then if they have gone through something like breast cancer, then they would have their prosthesis. It would slide right into the pocket, and you would not be able to tell the difference.
Now, if you have, of course, breast cancer is a whole other world, right? Yes. Getting that treated and dealing with the body change issues there. Let's say you haven't had breast cancer. Now, let's say it's just a natural asymmetry, just one bigger than the other. Where can those women find the prosthesis? And we talked about the chicken cutlet, right? But you're talking about something different now. Now you're talking about something that really fills a certain amount of volume to match symmetry. Where does a woman get that?
So in my experience, I've only used a chicken cutlet to solve that problem. If they needed something else like a prosthesis, they would have to go through their doctor.
Well, I can tell you that there are certain stores, and we have one not far from here, actually in Hollywood, Florida, that caters to women that have had breast cancer. And so if you have a really significant asymmetry, you might use the same thing, use a post-mastectomy prosthesis that you can pop in. So you can find those. Typically, you might find them, going around hospitals where a lot of cancer surgery is done. There's frequently women's health stores that'll have this stuff, and we do have one pretty close by.
There are specialty bra boutiques that will assist with that, like you said.
Sure, but you can even, you're mentioning if you have some natural asymmetry, maybe not needing a full prosthesis, getting the right bra that has a little pocket sewn in so you can create the fullness, create the symmetry.
Correct.
Let's talk about clothing choices. Right? A lot of times fashions change, and we were talking about Pamela Anderson, someone that's got full breasts that maybe it is no longer fashionable. Maybe they're uncomfortable being really big-chested, and they want to play it down. What are some tips for a woman to try and make her breasts, if she's not going to have a breast reduction, she just wants to not have them be so emphasized? What are some good fashion choices for them, some tips for them to downplay?
Well, starting with her foundation, she can try a minimizer bra. So that style of bra minimizes the appearance of the breast. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is you can do a fuller covered shirt. You might not want to wear the V-neck. If you want to pull back on that, you might want to look more for a crew neck, a mock neck, things like that. Shirts that are, people think that if they wear a more flowy shirt and they're trying to hide something, you really accentuate it. So you still wear a shirt that's not too snug, but something that is more form-fitting, because it still does, if you have the right foundation, that minimizer bra, it still gives you a decreased look.
That's interesting, because I think about patients that come for breast reduction, and I see, we get to see the transformation when someone comes and they're uncomfortable when it's really big and they want to be smaller, and we see them when they come in for their consultation for a breast reduction, and then we see them after they're done and their clothing choices. A lot of times they'll come in wearing a big sweatshirt or a big kind of poofy sweater that just flows over it and it has no form. It just kind of drapes over them, and it may minimize the breast, but it just makes them generally look bigger. So the idea of having something that's form-fitting, you wouldn't think maybe when you're trying to make big breasts look smaller, but I think it sounds right.
Yep, it actually does.
What about the opposite? What about a woman that has smaller breasts? When she's an A cup, obviously you can use padded bras. Any tips for accentuating that, kind of playing it up, and maybe being able to show something without having to rely on the padding?
So if you have a smaller breast and you want to give some cleavage, then there are a lot of tapes and adhesives that now lift. You can cut them to the shape of your breast. You can lay them and place them in different places depending on the outfit you want to wear.
So you mean tape that we're actually laying on your skin, like pulling the breast up, mashing some tape on there, and holds it in that spot?
But it's specific bra tape. It won't tear your skin.
Right.
It won't hurt your skin. We can put the nipple covers or dimmers on it.
Okay.
To make sure.
I've been waiting all episode to talk to you about dimmers. I mean, this is we'll get to that in just a second.
And then, a lot of times, if you do have a smaller breast, your go-to, your best friend is that good push-up bra. When you think about something like Skims, Kim has sealed the deal on the market. Kim has every shape you can think of. She even has a teardrop shape.
Huh.
Bra.
So padding that simulates a certain breast shape.
Correct.
So let's talk about this. We're going to start off. You mentioned dimmers, but I'm going to go the other way because you just mentioned the Skims, right? Kim Kardashian has developed a whole new thing, right? This is I don't think it's ever been done before. I think this is the first time anyone's done it. For the longest time, we were talking about dimmers, which we'll show. These are little silicone. I mean, Joe, you have the little graphic on that. They have these little silicone cup things. There you go. That hide nipples. You know, people talk about the headlights being on. That's why they're called dimmers. Funny, right? I mean, actually, there's a brand called Headlight Dimmers. So, you know, to take the nipple away, and that's been the struggle forever. I mean, women have been trying to hide their nipples as they're poking out in T-shirts and form-fitting clothing to be more discreet and, you know, just be a little bit softer with their appearance and not be so out there. But now Kim Kardashian has flipped this totally on its head.
Yes.
So, I mean, can you get the Skims bra up again? This is incredible. I mean,
The nipple bra.
seriously,
The nipple bra.
in a million years, I would never have guessed. I mean, there you go. There it is. You can take a look. The nipple bra, a bra that is intended to give you support, but have a nipple that shows intentionally through the clothing.
Yes. So she's cornered the market. Here's the thing. Whatever Kim does, everyone follows.
No, I get that. I get that. But this is, when I first heard about it, I said, oh, come on, that is ridiculous. And then I started thinking about it, right? I think about it as a surgeon, you know, someone who does breast augmentation. And it makes sense that if you wanted to have, you know, that the sexy image of having a little bit of nipple show, and it's not outrageous. It's just it's a subtle little bump, right? And you can see it in the, you know, you take a look at the bra, you can see it. It's a subtle little bump. It makes sense that if you have a little bit of breast sagging, but you wanted to have the appearance of a perky breast and have that little bit of subtle nipple show, it can be a sexy little feature in a T-shirt, in a tight sheer sweater or some other sheer clothing. To have the nipple in a right spot, in a perky place, that may not be where your natural nipple would normally be.
Correct.
That makes sense to me now. I think about it.
It does. It does. And again, it's to each his own. The other great thing she's done, she's kept it to herself. So you can't get it anywhere except for Skims.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
She hasn't sent it out to any other retailers.
Well, that's a great business decision, but I think, you know, the stroke of genius is to say, you know, we don't need, see, that's a great graphic. If you take a look at this image that we're showing now, that woman wearing the Skims nipple bra, maybe you take that bra off and those nipples wouldn't be where they're showing. Right. They'd probably be lower. Maybe they'd be pointing down. I mean, no offense. I'm sure, listen, the model that's in that picture probably is exactly the same when she takes that bra off. But for the woman that maybe has sagging, where the nipple is low, where it is pointing lower than you want it to be.
That's the boost of confidence that she needs.
It's amazing. Just getting the breast up in a beautiful form, in shape, and then to have the nipple projected in a really subtle way, just a little bit of show there. Yeah, that's going to turn a lot of heads.
It is. I have a friend who keeps asking me, when are you going to get the nipple bra? I'm not.
Well, everyone knows where to get it because Kim K can give it to you.
Exactly.
What about what other innovations have you seen breast related? What have been like the big strides? I mean, this is interesting. Dimmers, I think, were a big deal. People were using tape.
Yes.
And then this is so much easier and better for you.
So I have a favorite brand. It's called Fashion Form.
Okay.
It was created by a woman. I met her recently at a conference. A lovely woman named Ann Deal. And she is just an innovator. She started this business in her garage. Her grandmother helped her.
So many places, so many businesses like that.
Yes. And it's blown up. She's even taken her manufacturing from back overseas and is bringing it back to the U.S.
So what's the innovation? What has she done?
So she has tape. She has the breast tape.
Oh, okay.
She has the nipple dimmers. She has adhesive strapless bras.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Kind of meld into your flesh. So whatever color, light, dark, medium.
So it matches skin color too.
Right, it matches skin color, and you clip it in the front, and that way you can wear any type of top you want.
I like that.
When I saw that demonstration, I was like, whoa, she is on to something. So that is the top brand that I refer to.
And what was that brand?
It's called Fashion Form.
Fashion Form, and you said it's Ann Deal?
And Deal.
How about that?
She's based in Texas.
And the whole line is just breastwear.
Yes. She's all about the boob.
Yeah. Just like this show.
Yes.
Today. Just today. Not always. What if you had to give your top 3 tips to a woman in styling breasts, what do you think are your top 3 that a woman should pay attention to?
Making sure that the band fits and you're comfortable, you can move. Making sure the middle of your bra, the gore, fits flush to your skin in that center triangle. And making sure you have a bra wardrobe, that you don't just have that one single style bra. Life changes, life evolves. You want a sports bra. You want a strapless bra. You want a full coverage bra. You want a demi bra. You want a push-up bra. So having an actual bra wardrobe so that you're never left scrambling. It's terrible when you ready to go to an event, you have the clothes, but you don't have the proper undergarment. That puts you in a lurch.
Well, I can tell you that my wife has a closet full of them. So we got that covered, but it really is an important point. You know, being comfortable in what you're going to wear starts with what you're wearing under what you're wearing. That foundation, as you say, is a great tip. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and say, Chanelle, I got to talk to you more. I got to learn better how I can make myself look great. How they get a hold of you?
My website is curvyconsultant.com. I am Chanelle Renée, the Curvy Consultant. And you can find me on Curvy Consultant on Instagram.
All right, Curvy Consultant, at Curvy Consultant.
Yes, at Curvy Consultant.
Thank you so much for joining us. Great conversation. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We are about to reveal the final result on the painting. How we doing back there?
Oh, well, I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah, are you, you need some more time?
Well, I could use a moment.
You're going to get a moment. We are about to show this. Now, Madelyn Greco is the person that's been painting behind me, and she is going to introduce her. I'll introduce her to you directly in just a moment. She has, she's been an award-winning artist for many years. She's actually a champion body painter, and we're going to get her in just a second. We have a reel. Joe, do you have the introductory reel when this got started?
If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake, baked a cake. Baked a cake. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. How'd you do it? How'd you do it? How'd you do?
If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. Baked a cake. Baked a cake. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. How'd you do? How'd you do? How'd you do? Had you dropped me a letter, I'd have hired a band, grand band in the land. Had you dropped me a letter, I'd have hired a band and spread the welcome mat for you.
Pretty amazing. Now, we're going to have her come sit with us in just a second. She has been behind me the whole show, painting with paintbrushes on her breasts. She has suction cups that get stuck up on there. She's got the brushes sticking out, and you can see her working behind me, finishing up what is a pretty impressive portrait that has not had the benefit of her hands to hold those brushes. So for the breast episode ever, This is a real perfect way to round it up. You about done?
I'm about done.
Here he is. There I am. What do you guys think? That's pretty impressive. I'm going to keep this forever. It doesn't even, yeah, Joe, see if you can get it. It doesn't show up as nicely on camera as it does in person. You really see, just amazing texture. It really is awesome.
Thank you.
So cool. All right, so check that out. All right, I'm going to lay this back here.
Oh, the easel right there.
Yeah, here, let's go ahead and pop that on the easel. I don't even know how to do that. We'll leave it behind me so you guys can see it. And I want to talk to you. Just come and join me.
Okay.
Have a seat. Holy cow. That's
cow.
unbelievable.
Here we
You've been
are.
doing this for how long?
Oh my goodness, maybe 7 or 8 years, I think. This particular talent. I've been an artist for as long as I could hold a crayon in my fist, you know.
I believe that. I believe that. 7 years of doing this. What gave you the idea that you should give this? I think I can attach paintbrushes to my nipples and paint with them. What gave you that idea?
Somebody asked me, I was doing a lot of performance art at the time, and I was doing burlesque. And so someone asked me, would I do something, come up with something different for a show? And I'd seen people just sort of put paint on themselves and make prints,
right.
or, things like that. And so I thought, well, I bet you I could paint if I just made paintbrush pasties. And I'm big into costume making, so I thought I would try it. And that's where the whole idea was born. I did it at the show. People went crazy over it. Just everybody, they had an auction at the end.
How could they not?
Everybody bid for the painting, and they had all the cast members sign it. And it was just, it just took off like that. And so a few weeks later, I was at Fantasy Fest. And I took
see, it's perfect for that.
Yeah, I took like a watercolor pad and the little palette that you see there, and I just thought, I'll try this, So I walked around when I wasn't busy body painting, and I did portraits, just on the street, like
wow.
Basically walked up, I'll do your portrait, and that was how we did it.
Holy cow! Well, what great content! It's very impressive. This is not something you're dabbling in.
Oh no,
you're a pro.
Sure.
5-time world champion.
5-time world champion, yes. We have 7 trophies from the world championships, as a matter of fact, all achieved in about 5 years' time. So
that's nuts. But that's not for breast painting.
No, not this kind of body painting.
I can't imagine. Have you ever seen anyone else do it? how could there be a competition? You might be the only one in the world doing this.
I think I'm the only woman in the world doing portraiture in this way.
And you designed your own pasties.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But you are a 5-time world champion in body painting.
In body painting, yes, which is painting on someone else's body. So.
Is it okay if I show your work?
Absolutely.
It's on display in my office, but and can I talk about how this came to be?
Absolutely.
All right. This is the painting behind me. The one that she just did is not the only one that she made for me. She made this. Let's see, Joe. I'll get the glare out of it. Go ahead. This is a fantastic portrait, you can see there, of 2 women that are body painted. But now those 2 women are not just any 2 women. These are both post-ops of mine. There you go. That's it right there. These are both patients of mine that were body painted, and one of them
is me.
Is you.
That's right. I'm this one.
Oh, see, there you go. She's actually calling herself out. How about that? It is amazing. And you painted the frame to match the body art.
I did.
That's so cool. I love this. Now, we have this on display in my office. As soon as you walk in to see me for consultation, you get into the main hallway where we've got our exam rooms. This is right in the center of the main wall that you see, and it's impressive. But this is more the kind of work that you do on a regular basis.
That is more what I'm doing most of the time, yes.
Yeah. Really impressive, and I'm honored to have it. So you actually can be commissioned to do things, right? You'll show up to do a certain event. What do you have lined up?
So coming up, actually, I have I have a resort appearance and then a cruise ship going to Antarctica. So
A cruise ship? No, going to
Yeah.
Antarctica. Ooh. Well, I hope you're
Yeah.
doing this inside then.
I think so. Yes. So we do painting. I also do murals. I paint buildings. I paint everything. I paint purses, shoes, clothing. Hats.
Wow.
People, buildings, rooms. You name it. If it can be painted and it stands still long enough, I'm on it.
The body stuff is amazing. I always describe to people, it's sort of like you're making your own avatar characters every time. It's really impressive. A couple things. Do you do any public events? Can someone come and see you at an event?
Yes, although I'm not scheduled for anything all that public in the area coming up, except if
Anywhere in the country.
Sure. But I was going to say, if I could talk about one thing, it would be to send people to purwith3rs.org
Okay.
for the Whiskers in Wonderland winter brunch.
Tell us about that.
And I will be body painting models. We'll have a lot of painted kitties running around.
So you're going to
and
do
so
like
forth.
the Broadway Cats kind of thing for the Purr event.
Absolutely.
Now, Purr is a great cause.
Yes.
And, we've donated to it. My wife just gave a ton of clothes for
For the thrifty kitty, I know.
Yeah, there you go. So,
I was there.
Oh, you were at the
Yes.
we couldn't make it up there, but we're happy to try and support.
Yeah, that's
really
great.
charity that does a tremendous amount of work for cats, stray cats, cats that, it's a shelter, basically. It's a tremendous cat shelter.
Yes. Rescue, spay, neuter,
Right.
all
Yeah,
kinds of support.
provides a tremendous amount of veterinary work. So good call out there. And so you will have your work on display at that event. When is it going to be?
I will. That is December 13th. And again, you can buy tickets just by going to their website. So
And the website was?
it's purwith3rs.org.
Purr.org. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and have you come and do something for one of their causes or maybe a party.
Right. So I am livingbrush, all one word, .com, or they can find me on Instagram at Madelyn, MADELYN _Greco, GRECO. And also Facebook, Madelyn Greco,
But livingbrush.com.
livingbrush.com.
Yeah, that's the easiest way for someone to get you. I am blown away. I mean, I'm looking at it in the monitor. I can't believe that was done in just this last hour or so. Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
It's
You're
so much fun. I'm so glad I
you're
finally
awesome.
got to paint you.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you did too.
I'm a bit of your work of art, and now you're a bit of mine.
That's true. Now, well, I appreciate that, and I've got two pieces of your work in the
That's
office.
true.
This is so much fun. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you do check out livingbrush.com, and it's Madelyn Greco that you can find on Instagram,
Facebook,
TikTok,
yeah.
all the social media channels. This is Naked Beauty, and you can check us out at Naked Beauty TV and Instagram, and you can check us out on YouTube. If you just search Naked Beauty in YouTube, you'll find a lot of our content. This has been the best episode ever, and I mean that. I mean, take a look at what she did. It's unbelievable. Thank you for joining me. We're done. This is it. This is the show. I hope you agree that this was the best episode ever. Next month, we're going to be having another great episode of Naked Beauty. Join us live on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and we hope we see you then. Thanks for joining me today.